Okay, so a tuning I think works pretty well for this, unofficial. I think a drop D kind of gets the best of most things that we want to do here without having a lot of fuss and muss getting from like a standard to this. So no wild tuning that we need to mess with every string. Let's just try to make it as simple as possible and just go drop D. So just take that low E, go down a whole step. So we got D, A, D, G, B, E. All right, I think we can pretty much get everything we need here. And I'd say the only kind of big sacrifice here would maybe be like if you're trying to do this piano intro, we can't quite get as low as like the piano can go. So we'll compensate a little bit. I think it'll sound fine. This initial piano bit, so a lot of E flat going on here. And we'll start here with this first fret on the D, and then we hit that. Drop down, hit the first on the middle D, and then we'll pick through this E flat majors 9 sus chord, so a pretty wild chord. Nothing too funky in the fingering really, so it's just like hit the first on the low D, first on the middle D, 3 G, 3 B, and then we just kind of strum like the bottom half of the chord. So it'd be that 1 on the D, the 3 on the B and G, and then just add that 1 on the 3. It's a couple strums. And then we kind of just skip that initial low note and then just pick through it again. The 1D, 3, 3, and then the chords. Alright, and you repeat that whole thing a couple times. And then we'll shift over to this C7 sus2 look. So we do the here's kind of where like instead of hitting like a super low C, we'll just hit the C here, kind of that mid C a couple times just to compensate. And so we'll just do a couple 3s on the A, and then we'll pick through this 7 sus2 thing where we go 5D, hit the 3G, and then strum the full chord with the 3 on the B as well. So we'll have that 3A, 5D, 3G and B, and then the chord a couple times. Right, and you can do that a couple times as well. It's just pretty much mimicking like the amount of times as like the previous chord and the style that we did with the previous E flat. And then apply the same thing to the next chord, the final chord, which is like a B flat major 9 thing. And so we'd go down to the first fret on the A, hit that a couple times, not going as low as the piano goes, but just getting that note just the same. So a couple 1s on the A, hit the open D, 2G, 1B. Alright, and then strum that as a chord. Alright, and you can repeat that the same as we did the others. And once everything kind of gets in and gets going, we kind of start with like this muffled tone of like kind of the verse progression or kind of the main progression, whatever you want to call it. And it's that first chord that we saw, the E flat major 9 sus, and just kind of hang on with like the mid-range area of it here where we do the 1 on the middle D, the 3 on the G and B, and the 1 E. Alright, and it's just a loose shuffling strum here, just kind of matching the drums here. It's a bit arbitrary, nothing super set in stone that you have to do exactly like I'm doing or whatever. It's just be loose, get in the rhythm of it. Just whatever feels good to you, up to you. But we just carry that through a couple measures, and then we'll move over to this, which now follows like a D bass note, kind of the same notes that we saw with that B flat previously though. So it's like this would just be like a D7, part of a D7 here. So it's like open D, 2G, 1B. And with this, it's just kind of like one measure as like a little turnaround here. And if you want, you can include like some low if you want to get big with it there. Not necessary though, maybe a little bit out of place, but alright, and then we just repeat those 2 chords, the E flat to the D7 like that a couple times. And then we'll do the E flat again, the 1 to 3s. Okay, do that the same again, but instead of doing the D7, now we're going to do a C7 sus2. So it's the 3A, 5 on the D, and a 3 on the G and B here. Alright, and we just carry that one a couple measures. Do the E flat again, and then we go to the C sus2 again, but only really like one measure of that, and then we move it over to a G minor. So with the drop D voicing I like to do here is just hit the 5s on the low D and the A, and then just do the 8 on the middle D. If you really wanted to do this vibe, you could do that. But it's, I don't know, I'm not comfortable with that, so I just kind of like to do this. Alright, and just about to measure that, and then we can, here it sounds like everything gets a little bit bigger. I guess maybe you call this the chorus, but it starts with the same E flat major 9, and here's where I kind of like to cut loose with the drop D by doing, we got our same 1 with the 3s and the 1, but then I like to throw in the extra low D1 and the A1 just to put that power chord on top of it. It makes it sound bigger, You definitely get that vibe at this point. Same type of strum and all that. Here there's a little subtle thing where we strum this out like a couple measures, but like the last beat or so of strumming that, we kind of throw in this C note, and basically when you just switch over to the 3 on the A, you can do like an open D and keeping that same G and B 3. Alright, and it comes out to be that same C7 sus2 that we've been using, just a different kind of voicing now. But it's just kind of like a little hit on it, hit or two, just to like finish it out. So alright, you would carry that first chord out a little longer, but just showing you. Alright, it's just a little hit at the end of it, little subtle thing. But we go through that a couple times, and then we would switch to, after doing the E flat to C with the little couple C hits there, then we would switch to our G minor, the 5s with the 8, hold that for a couple measures. Alright, and you repeat the whole thing again, the E flat with a couple C hits, do that a couple times, the G minor, and then we finish by just doing, staying on that C7 sus2. We can switch to like our original shape with the 3A, 5D, 3s on the G and B, and just hold that out as like a little transitional chord for a couple measures here. Alright, so then it would go, through like the verse progression, and after that we get this new outro thing where we're doing some octave kind of riffs here. So we're just using that A and G octave shape. Alright, and it starts here at the C, so we go 3A, 5G, hit it, and this is, you can strum it as many times as you want, just as long as you kind of get the timing right. We just slide that 3 and 5 up to 5 and 7, couple hits there, and then we take it up to 8 and 10. You can hit it once or you can hit it a couple times, up to you, whatever you feel like doing. And then we do the same kind of slide up to 3s, up to 5s, and then this time take it all the way up to 10 and 12. Alright, and then after that, we go back to our C7 sus chord and just hang on that for a little bit. And there's a little funny thing like the bass does there, if you want to include it, where you would kind of probably want to do a different voicing of the C sus thing, where it slides from like the G and then goes up to like the C sus. So a good way of doing that, you could just do like the 5s, and then you get up to this C sus where we got like the 10 on the D and A, and then you can do like the 12 on the middle D and the G. It's not quite that 7 sus, but it's just still a C sus. So if you want to do what like the bass is doing there, you can do that. So little extra thing there at the end, but that should be all you need really, and have fun.